Now we've had the strumming, which has been this, the sort of... But what happens when there's something that needs to be a bit more specific, a bit more gentle and a little bit more arpeggiated? Now what that means is that you've got a chord where you are, or a broken chord where you're playing all of the notes but individually, so you've got this sort of thing. Now this takes a lot of control, but once again, it's imperative that you don't look at your right hand. You try and feel your way around. So I've got the 6th string, then the 4th, then the 5th, and then the 3rd. Now this of course will change between the chords, so that you've got these strings, but when you go to a C chord, you have to shift one string that way. It's closer than you think it is. Lots of people think, oh, a string, it must be over there, but actually, you know, you can play a downstroke on the D string and an up on the G, without really thinking that you've left that string. It all feels like it's on one string, because you're moving slightly further with this hand just to catch the next string with whatever stroke you're on. So it's a good idea to do this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. To get used to that, but not restricting your hand so you're going, because it actually affects the rhythm. If you've got a nice oscillation of that right hand, oh sorry, you can get a really nice balanced sound. Don't forget, you've got this sort of balance to strike between the tone of this piece of wood and the treble of the string. That for me has better balance than when I played it louder because of the tone of the guitar. Rather than, it just sounds much more forced. So if we've got our 4 chords again, the E minor, C, and G, and D, you can create a rhythm out of just using these. As long as you keep that rhythm really regular, it's going to work. Notice I was just doing random things, and that's it. The thing is, you can work out specific things till the cows come home. It's knowing how to go into a studio and somebody says, oh, it's E minor, C, G, D, and you think, okay, well, there's a few things I could do with that, a few things I could put down. In this day and age, we have essentially limitless audio tracks or audio channels on a computer. So that means you can put lots of acoustic guitar down. So you could do 2 tracks of this. So you record that and then record it again on another track and then add them together. It's the most pleasing sort of chorus sound that you'll get. You know, you won't get it from any plugin. It's much, much better if you actually record. And then maybe you could record another part that does this. And then maybe you could do this. With the going in the background. So there's so many possibilities. And this is really what sets lots of songs apart from one another. It's the way that those 4 chords, which are used all the time, actually make a lot of sense, and it depends of course on what the song's about. You know, we always play for the song when you're recording, so this, if it's the death of a loved one, it's not going to go unless it's a violent end, you know. Oh, I miss you when you're not around. Oh, I miss you. Oh, I wish I could be with you. I'm not known for my lyrics. However, the guitar part reflected what was going on in that song. Yeah, I miss you. Da, 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 da. Yeah, he stood at the graveside. It's not going to be. Unless it's an angry song. You know, if the song's about anger, yeah, you might as well. Yeah, you might play a bit louder, or the chorus could be a bit more angry, and you could just up it, you know, in volume terms. But this is only good if it really reflects what the song's about. So there are all sorts of variables when you go and record something using these 4 chords. It could be anything at all. So just have a range of ideas. I mean, you could go. Now, the number of variations in the sound there is really indicative of the reason why a computer cannot do this at all. Computers are very good at synthesizing some instruments. I mean, some of the piano sounds are immensely good, but things like guitar loops, acoustic guitar loops, you know, there are a finite number, and actually the number of possibilities on an acoustic guitar for those 4 chords it's just billions, it's limitless. Which is why you get those sort of, oh yeah, I've heard that sample before, and you want individuality in your recordings. So even if you've learnt those 4 chords, E minor, C, G and D, see how far you can go with them. If you can do something like this, that time I looked at this, I looked at my right hand because I was kind of simulating what it might be for somebody who's starting out with these chords and sort of worrying about the recording. You know, when the record button goes on, you've got to think very carefully about the timing, that you never rush or you never drag the beat, because it's really easy to do, especially if you're playing quite quietly and you've got a mix coming through your ears. What you don't want is this. You don't want any ambiguity. It's better to simplify for the sake of the timing. There could be, I mean, if you have a chord where there's a bit of a gap at the end. You know, it might be that there's another instrument or instrumentation. It could be strings, or, you know, an electric guitar that maybe does a chord or something like that. You know, or you could even do that on an acoustic guitar. The whole strings moving between frets really has been, it's been over-egged really with a lot of these samples. You know, you get these sounds. In fact, I think it's a general MIDI sound. And yes, it's an imperfection, but you don't really want to make too much of it. It says it's human, and it says it's being played in, but it's really loud sometimes. So try and, if you're doing this, try and bring those sort of sounds to a minimum, because it can be off-putting, especially if there's a vocal line there. So there's a little bit about the plectrum and how to play open chords. So the other way, of course, you can do is to finger pick, where you put the plectrum down and you play individual notes with your fingers. Now in that instance you get far less treble and much more of the bass and the mid frequencies out of the guitar. So if you're going to do two guitar parts, you could do one with plectrum, one without. Possibilities are endless, and there you go.